When I got into trading, which was about a year and a bit ago, I first looked for all the downsides to this business. I literally searched all the cons that comes with trading. I wanted to figure out if this was something that is good for me or not. Is it something that's scalable? Is it something that's trustworthy? You always hear all the negative stuff about trading. You hear about scammers and everything like that. And I first looked at all the cons, and it tells you obviously all the pros that we know of, which is that it's highly scalable, you have no overhead, you have no boss, etc., etc., etc. And then the cons obviously is that the main one is that you're going to lose money. And if you're the kind of person that's comfortable with losing money, and we all know the best traders are the best losers. So I had to obviously regulate my psychology to get to a point where I was comfortable with that. But it's not that easy, obviously, when you're trading with your real money. I started with a demo account, a bunch of them, and I put in, the idea of the money that I was going to essentially deposit into the account so that I can regulate my psychology accordingly. Because we know, if you have a demo account worth of 100K, but then you can only put in about 10 or 5, it does change things. Not to mention the fact that one of them is your real money, the other one isn't. Anyway, that's how I started. I looked at all the cons. And after that, I got straight into watching course videos on how to do it. What is the profitable strategy? What is also the most simple strategy, right? I wanted something that I could rinse and repeat over and over and over and over again and make money from it. And that's literally what I did. I went through the entire internet, Instagram, YouTube, just searching for something that would work. I went on ChatGPT. I told it what I needed out of my setup. Once I half and half understood the concept, and you go on and on looking at all these gurus online teaching you a particular setup that's definitely profitable for them. Some of them are lying, and then some of them are actually showing you their P&L, and they're showing you how they are able to make this money. And there's the receipts, there's the withdrawal that they requested in their emails. There's a lot of very verifiable sources that they attach to their content, which is all good and well. But we all know that the trader behind the setup is a lot more important than the setup itself. Now, I trade a simple supply and demand strategy, right? I look for VWAP, I look for Fibonacci retracement, and I look for key level of support and resistance. If those things align, I'm pretty good to enter. Into New York session, it's basically the same thing every single day. If those things aren't in alignment, I'm not trading. If I have two of three of those confluences, I can maybe look at decreasing my lot size of some sort or just utilizing my discretion. But if I only have one of those confluences, I'm not entering at all. All three of them is an edge. But I had to build that the little elements of those strategies, right? The sort of subsections of that setup by myself. And I was looking online. We all know there's all these setups. There's ICC, ICT, orb strategy, all of this other stuff. And you can try to copy and paste it as much as you possibly can onto your own chart. It's all good and well. And maybe you can hit a couple trades that are going to go into profit. But you cannot account for the day where you're having a bad time, right? Life and circumstances are hitting you in a certain way. And maybe on the ICT strategy that you got from TJR requires you to trade with a 1 to 2 R&R. And on that particular day, you're just not keen to sit with price action, hovering within your stop loss region, and you're going to start essentially self-sabotaging yourself to get out of that position, or to reverse your position, or to increase your lot size, or to full port your account, etc., because your psychology cannot deal with a 1 to 2 R&R, right? Maybe it's just too big. I'm the kind of person where I know that I need a R&R where if I'm wrong very quickly. You're going to get me out of that position, and I can re-regulate my psychology to be in a better position to enter possibly again. I give myself a max amount of two positions a day. And if I'm wrong, it's quick. I'm in and I'm out. But I had to figure that out with reps, right? Even though I was trading with setups that I had found from gurus online, giving me a sort of what's this? They prescribing you with an R&R, prescribing you with a risk management system, etc., etc. And basically, what I'm touching on is that even though you can apply someone's strategy onto the charts, you cannot apply the strategy into your psychology because they pretty much two different things in the beginning. You need them to align, right? Which means that you need to build your own one, which is something that I don't think any trader is willing to hear, a beginner trader anyway. We want a setup that we can take from a guru online and just copy and paste it onto the charts and make money off of it. And maybe you can find some guru who gives you a strategy that perfectly aligns with the way that you think and the type of person that you are, your risk tolerance, and your how much you're willing to, how long you're willing to sit through a trade, etc., etc. But more often than not, setups are built by people and everybody is different. So the news that is going to be the most important for you to digest is that you are going to be your edge. You need to build a strategy. And it comes from a sense of feeling sort of, what's the word, insecure about your ability as a trader. If you are not confident in the idea that you can sit down and look at price action and be able to tell a story for yourself on the charts by looking at the charts and reading the patterns day after day, right? Sitting in front of the charts to try to understand why certain things are happening, because each candle is many different emotions happening in there. And then there's patterns as those candles print. And they pretty much create those patterns on a daily basis, right? If you're a swing trader, maybe you're looking for a weekly basis set of patterns. If you're a day trader, you're looking for the daily patterns. If you're a scalper, you're looking maybe for the hourly patterns, etc., etc. But you need to understand price action at a time frame by yourself, right? I decided early on that I wanted to be a swing trader because I thought it would be a lot better for my psychology to grab onto, not entering and exiting positions the whole day, scalping, just essentially pressing buy and sell the whole day, looking for the most micro price action movements on the 1 minute time frame, the 5 minute time frame, etc. I knew I wanted to hold positions for about a day to two, and then after that, I'm pretty good. But after I decided that, then I was looking at swing traders and I'm trying to understand, what are they doing? What's the setup that I can use? I copied and pasted it on my chart. It never worked. Not because the setup wasn't profitable, but because it didn't connect with my psychology until I sat down in front of my laptop. I remember the night and I just went back on the charts. I literally had my notebook next to me and I wrote down one style of setup, another style, where this one was, let's say, a 1 to 2 R&R, this one was a 3R, this one was a 1 to 3, and this one entered on the 5 minute candle after 30 minutes after New York liquidation. This one entered on the freaking 30-minute candle closure after London session, etc., etc. And I would paste that setup with the forecasting tools on TradingView, and I just went back and I did that over and over again. It took a long time. It felt like I was getting nowhere really fast until it kind of started to click. I sort of pushed past the barrier of, this is just taking too much time. What's the setup that I could just copy and paste on the chart right now? It's taking way too much time. And I kept pushing past that barrier, and I kept repeating the process of trial and error until eventually something clicked. I saw a distribution that was happening at a particular time every single day. I measured out how much it distributed on those days, and I averaged it out. And then I created a R&R that would accommodate for it. And then when I saw that the R&R was maybe, let's say, risking too much of my capital, I was like, okay, maybe I need to find a lower time frame for me to catch a decent entry where I can risk the amount of money that I'm willing to lose, but also catch the earliest entry of the preempted distribution after that, after the confirmation. I found a 5 minute entry after about 45 minutes after New York liquidation every single day, and then I target the low of London session. Let's say if I'm catching a short on gold or something like that, and I saw one setup hit like that. I saw another one hit like that. I saw another one hit like that. I saw another one hit. I saw another one hit, and I think I saw two of them not hit TP or maybe make a complete reversal. And then I used my discretion. I was like, okay, am I comfortable with losing those trades? Look, the R&R here is 3R. That means I'm in and out. And then all of a sudden, because I had I had data behind the setup, I was comfortable with the idea that one of these days it's not going to hit. But I know that about 75% of the time, maybe 65 to about 75% of the time, this setup's going to hit. I just need to stick to it. It gave me so much more confidence than copying and pasting another trader setup on my chart. You can use all the best parts about another trader setup on your chart. It's all good and well. But in the long run, what makes you the millions, what makes you consistently profitable, is having a psychology that is consistent with your setup. So basically, your train of thought, your patterns, your emotional impulses are aligned with and protected by your setup. You and your setup are now one. That changed everything. And then furthermore, I stopped trying to watch all these videos teaching me, this one move is going to add this edge to your setup. It wasn't like that. I was just looking for my setup on the charts. If it wasn't there, I didn't trade. Instead of being like, today it wasn't there, what's another setup that I can use to paste onto the setup? Because I have statistical data to back my position. It changed everything. Not copying and pasting someone else's setup, building my own. You are more than intelligent. You are smart enough to look at the charts and find patterns, tell stories. Each candle, each pattern tells you a story, and you can make it make sense to yourself because you are an intelligent individual. In the same way that you're able to watch someone's content teaching you a strategy, to join someone's Discord, Telegram, teaching you a setup, and you are able to digest that information and apply it, you're able to go in, do the work by yourself, and understand price action by itself. Or else you're not a trader. You're just copying. And what if that guru just decides that he doesn't want to give you those signals anymore? What if one day his setup has been phased out on the charts because price action has changed patterns? Can you rely on who you are to be able to build something that's going to be profitable for you? If you can't, you're in dangerous territory, because now you are going to be like a headless chicken running around looking for something that's actually going to work from another man. It's not sustainable. It's not healthy. So just as a call to action to every trader out there who's watching this, you need to prioritize your own discretion, your own intelligence, and have faith in the fact that you are competent enough to understand price action and build a setup that will be profitable, and that you are the kind of person that can adapt to any market conditions because you are the source of the intelligence behind the setup. Your psychology is your edge. Who you are is your edge, and that needs to align with the setup that you build on the charts, not someone else's. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Click the like button, subscribe, join my Discord, it's free to join. I have a trading journal as well that you can use to journal all your trades. And my prop firm as well that I use is also linked in the description. Cheers.